Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I have had some problems today with my video set up and I am desperate need of a new computer and it kept shutting off, excuse me, not a new computer, a new phone for recording. It's kept shutting off and so I apologize, but I am pretty much done with my tags, so let me rewind. Here's my tags and rewind and tell you the story. So this is a follow-up to the Botanical book that I bought that had the slick paper that I gessoed and then inked, and I was going to create a full journal page. But I went to sew around it a couple days ago and I had a snafu and I forgot to put my bobbin in, and thus it ate into my paper and I had to pull it out and did some ripping. So I decided at that point to go another direction and decided to cut them down to 2 tags, and I was going to decorate them with you live, but unfortunately every time I was in the middle of this my camera kept stopping and didn't know it, and so by the time I've tried it twice I've gotten this far. So yeah, so the backing paper is tea dyed. I'd already put it together with a little bit of glue when I originally was going to do the journal page, so I stuck with it. It's a little bit more on the thinner side than a normal tag, but I think that's fine. I don't think we have to do the same things and follow a rule for everything. So this tag here, I did die cuts in various shades with my Tim Holtz Sizzix dies. Sorry, I'm going to glue that down really quick. My Tim Holtz Sizzix dies, and those are right here. These are the thinlits, and here's the number right here. Okay. And so I cut out that as well as some dragonflies. Now the dragonflies is not part of that thinlet set. I honestly can't even remember where I got the dragonfly from. It was not inside of any of the coverings, so obviously I threw that away at some point. But I picked coordinating colors to what I felt was on the page, so I felt in this particular case that the blues, there was plenty of representation of green, so I felt like blue, pink, and yellow would be best here, and I did put a little doily underneath just to give it an additional layering and kind of cut through some of the coloring on here. And I'm going to add some buttons, I think, down the side just to kind of complete the look and make this a little bit of a more simple tag. There's a lot of coloring going on, so sometimes simple is better. I'm going to check and see if maybe put a little bit of cheesecloth underneath that. My concern is the thinner, just I don't want to make it too heavy here, but we could put a little bit of cheesecloth just to kind of bring in a little extra texture on there. Don't know if I want the cheesecloth on there. I'm thinking I'm just going to keep it simple and go with that. And I'm going to grab my fabric tack for this particular situation just to make sure that those stay on. Yucky. Fabric tack's always leaking here. High altitude, and I tell you, always feels like I'm having an uphill battle when it comes to the fabric tack and trying not to let it leak out everywhere. I need a fresh bottle. That one. spaced. This one here. Sorry, hopefully my head's not going in there. I'm going to kind of get these evenly spaced. Yep. I think that looks good. I still need to ink around the tag, and I'm probably not going to punch it and add any trim at this point, just until I know what book this might go into, and I may decide to put colored trim, or I may even just go neutral on it, but I think I'm going to wait on that. And then this one here is basically complete, and again, I'm not going to punch the hole yet and put anything in there till I know where this is going to go. But this one, I wanted to also put a little bit of yellow into it and decided to go purple and green. And my dragonfly is a layered die, and so I kind of pop the wings up just ever so slightly. They may not stay up depending on where this ends up, but I added a, in this case I went ahead and added a label and some Tim Holtz sentiments with brave wings she flies. I felt that was a nice sentiment for this. And yes, I'm going to do a little bit of inking because I think it will set the colors apart even more, and I think it'll just look finished for this and define the edges a bit more of the tag. So I just got myself a new sponge a few days ago, and so it feels like the older they get, the better they kind of ink. I don't know if that's a real thing or not. That's the way it feels. But my old one was starting to disintegrate and leave sponge pieces everywhere. So it was time. All right, so there's the completed tag. There's tag number 2, and I could have inked these and probably popped them a little bit more, but they are quite delicate. I don't want to tear them, and I don't feel like I need to ink everything, but I think this is a good nice tag for a journal with lots of pastels. I think using those sheets, I can change the ink color. Look at this. Look at this. I can change the ink color to kind of match whatever journals I'm doing in the future, so I think that will work just fine. And then I wanted to chat just quickly about my next project. So I am going to continue doing some additional envelope journals because my mom wants a journal, and I always like to have an example of the journals that I do. And I gave away the first one to my friend. So I will be doing a couple more so that I can have one and my mom can have one. So I am deciding for my mom's whether I do this blue butterfly kit from G. Kerr. It's a really pretty kit. This has an ephemera piece here, which I printed out the first time, too big, and it cut off the edge, so I printed out another sheet so I get the butterfly wording, and that's fine. Can always use a few extra. I need a total of 15 images, 15 sheets, if you will, to cover the entirety of the different pages between the 5 envelopes and then the 3 cards. So this kit definitely fits the bill. Very pretty. G does a lot of glitter glue on her butterflies, which do make them pop. I may do the same thing. Not to be a copycat, but if you find something good, as long as you're giving credit, that's all that matters. So this is a perfect kit because there's a lot of consistency in the layout of the page with the design. So I think it would look nice, and if I want to lay a pocket over it, that would go very well too. So each of these will get cut in half. I don't know if I'll use this one, trying to decide if I want to use this one or not. Might have to do some additional decorating. Obviously it's quite plain as a writing page. And then these would be great just for cards and the envelopes, etc. So quite pretty. And then the second kit is Grandma's Attic. And the name of the designer just went flying out of my head. I will put the link below for both of these in case you're interested and you want to get them for yourself. So sorry to the designer, I forgot. I'm sorry, I should have written it down so I wouldn't forget on camera. But in any case, this is very aged looking design. I don't want to offend my mother by saying it's Grandma's attic, but I love the aged look, and it definitely looks like something you would find in your grandmother's attic. I love the coloring. I love both coloring. I like blue. There's not enough blue, I think, sometimes in kits, so kind of dig in the blue butterfly. But I also love pink. Also, maybe not a popular color right now, but I love it. And these are great background papers because they're so simple. You can really decorate the pocket, whereas if it's a more busy page, I feel like you have to go a little bit more simple on the pocket, not to overdo it. Just my opinion on how I like to design my books. But yeah, lovely kit, and there are a ton of pages, and they're already naturally two-sided, so trimming them down shouldn't be a big deal. This one is very pretty with the script. And lots to choose from, to pick and choose. If I decide I don't like a certain one, there's plenty of other pages to go into that journal. I really love that. I really love the brown with the pink on that. And then this one with the ladies and gentlemen. And then there are a couple of very plain sheets, great for writing. I don't know if I will use either one of these specifically for this particular project, but they're great in regular journals to have pages that are just for writing. So I will join you guys next time when I get these prepped and inked, so you don't have to watch all that. I'll probably go ahead and sew around them as well, just so that they're completely ready to go. If you want to join me in the project, go ahead and get your DigiKit ready or your scrapbooking paper pad ready. It will depend probably on the size of your envelopes, but we'll go through the sizing in our next video. And I look forward to chatting with you guys then. Bye-bye.